Take a moment to think about how important political ideology is to you. Now ask yourself if you're willing to date someone who disagrees with your political values. This is a topic that I've always found fascinating because as the country becomes more polarized and divided, I wonder how couples like the Conways maintain their marriage when they clearly have such strong disagreements on Donald Trump. Kellyanne Conway works for Trump as one of his top aides, yet her husband, George, spends a great deal of time harshly criticizing Trump on social media. This is something that we've talked about on TYT's main show. Well, young people, particularly millennials, aren't about that life. The dating site OkCupid recently conducted a survey that found that younger voters have little to no interest in getting intimate with a partner who doesn't share the same political views. In fact, this survey found that since 2004, OkCupid's data show that the number of young people who preferred to date along party lines increased by a whopping 165%. Meanwhile, the amount of people who placed high value on having a fulfilling sex life decreased by 30%. Okay, just think about that for a second. According to this survey, millennials would rather suffer a bad sex life as long as their partner is aligned with their political values. It's kind of mind-blowing. Between 2016 and 2018, the number of millennial women who prioritize dating someone with similar political opinions than having good sex increased by 27% to 42%. But that trend is not unique to women. Men are experiencing it as well. An increase was also noted in millennial men, with the amount increasing from 23% to 30%. Even though there was an increase in men who prefer a partner with the same politics, note how the jump is definitely more prominent among women. As a woman who thinks about politics way too much, I get it. Maybe back in the 1980s and 1990s, there were some similarities between the two parties, and I could understand how a Democrat and a Republican can find enough common ground to enter an intimate relationship. But we live in a different America today. I personally think political views say a lot about who we are as people. It demonstrates our level of compassion and reveals our priorities and critical thinking. For example, even if I came across an insanely attractive guy who was physically appealing, I would probably lose interest if he were supportive of Trump's zero-tolerance policy of taking children away from their parents at the border. I think these surveys also show how politically engaged young people are today. While millennials still get a bad reputation as lazy or entitled, the truth of the matter is that they're more informed and they're paying close attention to policy proposals and differences between candidates within the same party. Ignorance can be bliss if you're merely looking for a hottie to have a good time with. But apparently, being informed about what's happening in the political world is important enough for millennials that they're willing to put that bliss aside. But I do think it's important to talk about, issues that you disagree with, talk to those you disagree with, engage in debate, and see if there is common ground to unite us. I worry we might be allowing those in positions of power to divide and conquer. A good way to prevent that from happening is to have discussions and open ourselves up to varying opinions. Oh, did you like that video? Well, that's great, because you never have to miss another episode of No Filter. All you have to do is just hit the subscribe button below and ring the bell to get notified whenever we publish a new video.